That was amazing. Adorable. Oh, here she comes. You got this, girl. Oh, it's a beautiful train.
God is love, and those who abide in love abide in God, and God abides in them. Evan and Danielle, before God and these witnesses, I ask you to affirm your willingness to enter into the covenant of marriage, and to share all the joys and sorrows of this new relationship, whatever the future holds. Evan and Danielle, will you have each other to be your wedded husband and your wedded wife, to live together in the holy bond of marriage, to love each other, comfort one another, honor and keep each other, and forsaking all others, be faithful to one another as long as you both shall live? If so, please answer by saying, I will. As we joyfully gather together as friends and family of these two individuals, we come to celebrate this marriage and give our support to Danielle and Evan. And they both celebrate the lives of all those past and present who have touched their lives and have been there for them throughout their journey. And yet they are ever mindful of the fact that not everyone who has been an important part of their lives are able to be here to share in this important chapter of their lives. So to acknowledge those who have gone on before them and to give them a special place in this holy sacrament, we wanted to give a place of honor to those people and acknowledge their love for them, and fill the void of their presence by placing a table of remembrance, recognizing that though they cannot be present with us, they are and will always be missed. We remember today Janice Mullen, John Mullen, Charles Steering, Josephine O'Connor, Jerry Staubach, Savannah Smith. Let's observe a moment of silence as we remember these loved ones. Dear friends and family, we are gathered here to witness the marriage of Evan Staubach and Danielle Deering, to surround them with our prayers, share in their joy, and to ask God's blessing upon them, so that they may be strengthened for their life together and nurtured in their love for God. The scriptures teach us that the bond of marriage is a gift of God sealed by a sacred covenant. God gives human love. Through that love, two individuals come to know each other with mutual care and companionship. God gives joy, that through that joy, two individuals may share their new life with each other and with others. God gave us marriage so that a couple may help and comfort each other. living faithfully together in plenty and in want, in joy and in sorrow, in sick and in health, throughout all their days. God gave us marriage for the full expression of the love between two people. In marriage, two people belong to each other and with affection and tenderness freely give themselves to each other. God gave us marriage as a holy mystery in which a couple are joined together and become one, just as Christ is one with the church. In marriage, two individuals are called to a new way of life, created, ordered, and blessed by God. This way of life must not be entered into carelessly or from selfish motives, but responsibly and prayerfully. We rejoice that marriage is given by God, blessed by our Lord Christ, and sustained by the Holy Spirit. Therefore, let marriage be held in honor by all. And with our love and our prayers, we support Evan and Danielle as they now freely give themselves to each other. Let us pray. O God, we gather to celebrate your gift of love and its presence among us. We rejoice that Danielle and Evan have chosen to commit themselves to a life of loving faithfulness to one another. We praise you, O God, for the ways you have touched our lives with a variety of living relationships. And we give thanks that we have experienced your love through the life-giving love of Christ and through the care and affection of other people. And at the same time, we remember and confess to you, O God, that we have often failed to be loving, that we often have taken for granted the people for whom we care most. We selfishly neglect and strain the bonds that unite us with others. We hurt those who love us and withdraw from the community that encircles us. Forgive us, O God. Renew within us an affectionate spirit. Enrich our lives with the gracious gift of your love, so that we may embrace others with the same love. And may our participation in this celebration of love and commitment give to us a new joy and responsiveness to the relationships we cherish. Through Christ we pray. Amen. A reading from 1 Corinthians chapter 13. If I speak in the tongues of mortals and of angels, but do not have love, I am a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. And if I have prophetic powers and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so as to remove mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give away all my possessions, and if I give over my body so that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient, love is kind. Love is not envious or boastful or arrogant or rude. It does not insist in its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. But as for prophecies, they will come to an end. As for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will come to an end. For we know only in part, and we prophesy only in part. But when the complete comes, the partial will come to an end. When I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became an adult, I put an end to childish ways. For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then we will see face to face. Now I know only in part. Then I will know fully, even as I have been fully known. And now faith, hope, and love abide. These three, and the greatest of these is love. Let us pray. God of our mothers and fathers, Here are pledges encouraging and supporting the union of Evan and Danielle. Bless us as we offer our prayerful and loving support in their marriage. Bless them as they pledge their lives to each other. With faith in you and in each other, may this couple always bear witness to the reality of love to which we witness this day. May their love continue to grow, and may it be a true reflection of your love for us all. Through Jesus Christ. Amen. Danielle and Evan, by your covenant promises shared with us, and out of reverence for God, unite yourselves in marriage and be subject to one another. Danielle, repeat after me. Evan, I give myself to you to be your wife. I promise to love and sustain you in the covenant of marriage. From this day forward, in sickness and in health, in plenty and in want, in joy and sorrow, as long as we both shall live. Danielle, I give myself to you to be your husband.
Danielle, I give myself to you to be your husband.
I promise to love and sustain you in the covenant of marriage. From this day forward, in sickness and in health, in plenty and in want, in joy and in sorrow, as long as we both shall live. Danielle and Evan have chosen to symbolize their commitment to one another with sand. Sand is an appropriate way to express this commitment. Sand is a basic element of God's creation. It reminds us that we are a part of God's creation. In one of the creation accounts in the book of Genesis, one of the writers describes that humanity was formed out of a lump of clay. Sand also reminds us of our humanity, in that just as we were created from dust, to dust our earthly body shall return. However, in another way, sand reminds us of the movement of our lives and our interconnectedness with one another. Whether in the water or on land, sand is constantly moving and mixing around. It does not stand still for long. It is moved by the wind and the water as well as by creatures moving through it and around it. There are forces around it that do not allow it to stand in the same place for very long. So it is with our lives. We will not be the same person tomorrow or next week or next year that we are today. We are constantly growing and evolving into what is hopefully a better person in the future. I always like to remind couples that there are two mistakes commonly made as couples enter into marriage. They either enter into a marriage hoping that the person they are marrying will never change, or that they enter a marriage with the expectation that they can change the person they are marrying for the better. Neither is a realistic expectation. We all come with baggage. We each have our own idiosyncrasies. And we all must learn to love one another, acknowledging that we all have our faults, and work hard together to create a beautiful mosaic out of our faults and our strengths. As the sand is poured, you will not be able to control what piece of sand goes where. But with the help of God and others, a beautiful picture will emerge. Each picture of sand is rather bland by itself, but as the sand comes together, a new creation will emerge. And so it is with marriage. The hope is that as two lives come together, they will create a beautiful picture together that would not have been possible apart. As the years go by, the picture will not look the same as it does today. The sand will be moved and jostled and will form into another picture. But the picture will still be beautiful. That is my hope and prayer for both of you. That regardless of the changing picture, you both will remain a beautiful picture together, despite the fact that the picture will not look the same as it does today. Pour the sand of your lives together. Move together with one another, creating many beautiful pictures as you spend your lives. I would ask that you present the symbols that you will share to symbolize your love. Let's pray together. By these symbols of covenant promise, gracious God, remind Danielle and Evan of your encircling love and unending faithfulness, that in all their life together they may know joy and peace in one another. Danielle, I give you this ring as a sign of my unending love and faithfulness. Evan, I give you this ring as a sign of my unending love and faithfulness. Eternal God, creator and preserver of all life, author of salvation and giver of all grace, look with favor upon the world you have made and redeemed, and especially upon Danielle and Evan. Give them wisdom and devotion in their common life, that each may be to the other a strength in need, a counselor in perplexity, a comfort in sorrow, and a companion in joy. Grant that their wills may be so knit together in your will and their spirits in your spirit, that they may grow in love and peace with you and each other all the days of their life. Give them the grace when they hurt each other to recognize and confess their fault, and to seek each other's forgiveness and yours. Make their life together a sign of Christ's love to this sinful and broken world, that unity may overcome estrangement, forgiveness heal guilt, and joy comfort despair. Give them such fulfillment of their mutual love that they may reach out in concern for others. Grant that all who have witnessed these vows today may find their life strengthened, and that all who are married may depart with their own promises renewed. Enrich with your grace all husbands and wives and couples, parents and children, that loving and supporting one another, they may serve those in need and be a sign of your kingdom. Grant that the bonds by which all your children are united to one another may be so transformed by your Spirit that your peace and justice may fill the earth. Through Jesus Christ our Before God and in the presence of this congregation, Evan and Danielle have made their solemn vows to each other. They have confirmed their promises by the joining of hands, by creating with sand, and by the giving and receiving of rings. And therefore I proclaim that they are now husband and wife. Those whom God has joined together, let no one separate. Give a kiss one another. As God's own, clothe yourself with compassion, kindness, and patience, forgiving each other as the Lord has forgiven you, and crown all these things with love, and bind everything together in perfect harmony. Danielle and Evan, your wife and husband, with the blessing of Christ Church. Be merciful in all your ways, kind in heart, accept life and be most patient and tolerant with one another. Forgive as freely as God has forgiven you, and above everything else, be true brothers. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, remembering that as members of one body you are called to live in harmony, and never forget to be thankful for what God has done for you. And now it is with great honor that I introduce to you Mr. and Mrs. Evan and Danielle Saul. And now would all of you stand as you are able for the benediction. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind always be at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, and rain fall soft upon your field. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Go into the world
Hell yeah! Pretty girl.